Welcome to English Practice Everyday. In today's vocabulary practice video, we will learn and practice 10 words at upper intermediate meaning B2 plus, upper intermediate meaning B2 plus level. After our practice, we will read a short story aloud that uses all these words, helping us understand how to use them in a proper context. Let's start. Please speak out loud with me as we practice. 1. Digress. Digress. Digress means to move away from the main topic in a conversation or writing. Digress means to move away from the main topic in a conversation or writing. Please don't digress. We need to finish this discussion quickly. Please don't digress. We need to finish this discussion quickly. Liz tends to digress when she talks about her favorite hobbies. Liz tends to digress when she talks about her favorite hobbies. During the meeting, Tom digressed and started discussing irrelevant details. During the meeting, Tom digressed and started discussing irrelevant details. The teacher started talking about history but digressed into a story about his childhood. The teacher started talking about history but digressed into a story about his childhood. Two, altruistic. Altruistic. Altruistic means being unselfish and caring about other people's needs more than your own. Altruistic means being unselfish and caring about other people's needs more than your own. The altruistic man donated half of his salary to charity. The altruistic man donated half of his salary to charity. Helping the poor is an altruistic act that benefits society. Helping the poor is an altruistic act that benefits society. Mom's altruistic nature makes her always think about others first. Mom's altruistic nature makes her always think about others first. The doctor was praised for his altruistic service during the pandemic. The doctor was praised for his altruistic service during the pandemic. Three, ebullient. Ebullient. Ebullient means full of energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. Ebullient means full of energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. The ebullient child ran around the park, laughing loudly. The ebullient child ran around the park, laughing loudly. Sam's ebullient personality made him the life of every party. Sam's ebullient personality made him the life of every party. Sue was ebullient when she heard she had won the competition. Sue was ebullient when she heard she had won the competition. The crowd was ebullient after their team scored the winning goal. The crowd was ebullient after their team scored the winning goal. 4. Disparity. Disparity. Disparity means a big difference or gap between two things. Disparity means a big difference or gap between two things. We need to address the disparity in healthcare access. We need to address the disparity in healthcare access. The disparity in their ages made their friendship unusual. The disparity in their ages made their friendship unusual. There is a significant disparity in the incomes of the rich and the poor. There is a significant disparity in the incomes of the rich and the poor. The report highlights the disparity between the rural and urban education. The report highlights the disparity between the rural and urban education. Five. Proclivity. Proclivity. Proclivity means a natural tendency or liking for something, especially something bad. Proclivity means a natural tendency or liking for something, especially something bad. Nick has a proclivity for taking risks in business. Nick has a proclivity for taking risks in business. Amy's proclivity for gossiping often gets her into trouble. Amy's proclivity for gossiping often gets her into trouble. Some people have a proclivity to procrastinate under pressure. Some people have a proclivity to procrastinate under pressure. The artist's proclivity for abstract painting is evident in his work. The artist's proclivity for abstract painting is evident in his work. 6. Bellicose. Bellicose. Bellicose means being aggressive and ready to fight. Bellicose means being aggressive and ready to fight. Paul's bellicose attitude made negotiations difficult. Paul's bellicose attitude made negotiations difficult. The bellicose football player often argued with the referee. The bellicose football player often argued with the referee. Jack became bellicose after drinking too much at the party. Jack became bellicose after drinking too much at the party. The country issued a bellicose statement warning its enemies. The country issued a bellicose statement warning its enemies. 7. Acrimony. Acrimony. Acrimony means bitter feelings or harshness, especially in arguments. Acrimony means bitter feelings or harshness, especially in arguments. Years of acrimony had damaged their friendship. Years of acrimony had damaged their friendship. The meeting ended with acrimony instead of a solution. The meeting ended with acrimony instead of a solution. They tried to resolve the acrimony caused by the misunderstanding. They tried to resolve the acrimony caused by the misunderstanding. The acrimony between the two neighbors made it hard for them to talk. The acrimony between the two neighbors made it hard for them to talk. 8. Pernicious. Pernicious. Pernicious means very harmful or destructive, often in a hidden way. Pernicious means very harmful or destructive, often in a hidden way. Smoking has a pernicious effect on your health. Smoking has a pernicious effect on your health. Pollution has a pernicious impact on the environment. Pollution has a pernicious impact on the environment. The pernicious rumor spread quickly through the office. The pernicious rumor spread quickly through the office. The pernicious influence of social media can harm young minds. The pernicious influence of social media can harm young minds. 9. Ostensible. Ostensible. Ostensible means something that appears true but may not actually be true. Ostensible means something that appears true but may not actually be true. Mary's ostensible kindness hid her true intentions. Mary's ostensible kindness hid her true intentions. Joe gave an ostensible excuse, but everyone knew the truth. Joe gave an ostensible excuse, but everyone knew the truth. The ostensible reason for the delay was traffic, but he overslept. The ostensible reason for the delay was traffic, but he overslept. My ostensible reason for leaving was a business trip, but I just wanted a break. My ostensible reason for leaving was a business trip, but I just wanted a break. 10. Subterfuge. Subterfuge. Subterfuge means a trick or dishonest way of doing something to achieve a goal. Subterfuge means a trick or dishonest way of doing something to achieve a goal. The spy relied on subterfuge to gather information. The spy relied on subterfuge to gather information. The company was accused of subterfuge in its advertising. The company was accused of subterfuge in its advertising. Zoe resorted to subterfuge to hide her mistake from her boss. Zoe resorted to subterfuge to hide her mistake from her boss. They used subterfuge to sneak into the concert without tickets. They used subterfuge to sneak into the concert without tickets. That's the end of the practice session. Let's now read out loud a short story using all these words in a proper context. Title of the story: The Professor's Gathering. On a tranquil Sunday afternoon, Professor Green decided to host a small gathering at his home. Renowned for his altruistic disposition, he often went out of his way to assist students in need without expecting anything in return. His home, lined with shelves brimming with books, stood as a testament to his insatiable love for learning. As the guests began to arrive, the ambience quickly turned ebullient. Mrs. Harper, the lively neighbor, could hardly contain her excitement as she recounted her recent trip to Paris. On the other hand, Mr. Jenkins entered with his characteristic bellicose demeanor, poised to launch into his usual contentious debates about politics. "Let's keep things civil today," Professor Green suggested gently, aiming to preclude any potential acrimony. However, Mr. Jenkins had already initiated a spirited argument with Mrs. Harper about the disparity in the public resources between rural and urban communities. "The disparity is appalling," Mr. Jenkins proclaimed. Rural schools are underfunded while urban centers squander resources on unnecessary extravagances. Mrs. Harper sighed dramatically. You never miss a chance to complain, do you? You have such a proclivity for finding the negative in everything. The professor chuckled nervously and sought to steer the discussion elsewhere. Has anyone read the latest book on ethics? It delves into the pervasive and often pernicious effects of modern influences. A brief silence ensued before Mrs. Harper seized the conversational baton. Speaking of ethics, do you know what's truly pernicious? The unchecked spread of misinformation on social media. Oh, here we go, Mr. Jenkins muttered, his bellicose instincts flaring up again. Sure, social media has issues, but it's not all bad. It's a tool that connects people across the globe. Sensing the burgeoning tension, Professor Green interjected diplomatically. Let's not digress too far. We're here to enjoy good company and conversation. The group nodded in agreement, allowing the conversation to drift to lighter topics. Yet it wasn't long before Mrs. Harper revealed what seemed to be her ostensible reason for attending. Professor, I hear you're spearheading a new project. Is it true you're planning to open a community library? The professor smiled modestly. Yes, it's a project close to my heart, though it's still in the planning stages. I want it to be a welcoming space for everyone. How noble, Mrs. Harper remarked, though her tone carried a hint of skepticism. I hope this isn't some clever subterfuge to boost your public reputation. The professor smiled, faltered briefly. It's not a subterfuge. My intentions are entirely genuine. The conversation settled into a comfortable silence as the guests turned their attention to the tea and cakes Professor Green had thoughtfully prepared. Even Mr. Jenkins appeared to soften, offering a rare compliment on the professor's hospitality. As the evening progressed and the sun dipped below the horizon, Professor Green reflected on the day. Despite the occasional moments of acrimony and bellicose exchanges, the gathering had been worthwhile. He understood that people were inherently complex, shaped by their proclivities, quirks, and imperfections. Yet, he believed in the value of fostering connections, even if it meant navigating through occasional discord and sidestepping pernicious distractions. While tidying up the living room, his thoughts returned to the library project. It was his way of addressing the stark disparity in educational access and inspiring altruistic contributions within the community. He hoped the initiative would create a ripple effect, encouraging others to engage in meaningful acts of kindness. With a sense of quiet satisfaction, Professor Green smiled to himself. Life, he realized, was a tapestry of debates, misunderstandings, and even moments of subterfuge. But it was also enriched by ebullient interactions, shared laughter, and opportunities to make a lasting impact. And that, he concluded, was what truly mattered. End of story. That's all for this vocabulary practice session. Try using these 10 words in your conversations this week to reinforce your learning. Bye for now.